Back again. I just wanted to do an update on my freeway riding video with the BMW 310GS. I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised with my most recent conclusion on the freeway driving with this bike. Now, I want to jump into the bad first. So, right out the gates, this bike's top speed is 86 miles an hour, which means about 75 is the most comfort you're going to feel on this bike. 70 to 75. 70 is the sweet spot. This bike will cruise at 70 and it'll do it no problem. It sits at about 7,000 RPMs while it does it. With that being said, if you encounter any hills on the freeway, any ups or climbs in elevation, you're going to be downshifting. That's another downside about this bike. It just doesn't have the power on the lower end to climb the bike. It doesn't have to climb the hill. It doesn't have the horsepower with it, guys. But that's fine. That's not what it's for, right? So we can give it a break on that one. Anyways, we'll give it a break on that one. But it does good. Second bad thing is it's lightweight, so it's going to get pushed around a lot by other cars. They're, the draft you get off of them, it's going to get pushed around by the wind. Semis are like your worst nightmare, right? Semis are their backdraft is unreal. How awful it feels. I mean, it is frightening to sit in that backdraft of those semis. Now, I haven't ridden anything other than this bike on the freeway, so I can't base it on anything other than this bike, and it is frightening if I'm being honest with you. So best solve for that is to get around the semis as quickly as possible. As soon as you pass their back end, that backdraft just kind of dissipates. But while you're back there, it is a frightening experience. Another downside about this bike is passing power. Good Lord, if you need to pass something quickly, I hope that you have enough room to do it, because it's just not going to pass it very quick. It does get up and move, it just doesn't do it fast. It doesn't do it with torque, it doesn't do it with a lot of power. So that's a little bit of a downside with it, although I can forgive it. You just have to kind of plan ahead and be cognizant of whatever is around you. The cars that are around you, the obstacles that are in front of you, all that kind of stuff. So you just you have to pay extra close attention, which you should be anyways when you're on the freeway, because it's a dangerous place. It's definitely, you're going at a high rate of speed. Anything that could happen, anything bad could happen at any point. So but enough of the downsides, let's hop to the positives. So the positive is it'll sit at 70 miles, 70 to 75, and it'll do it pretty good. Like I said, 70 is its sweet spot. It wants to stay at 70, and I want to keep it at 70, but sometimes you have to give it a little more, get it up there a little higher in the miles per hour to keep up with traffic. But 70 is where it wants to stay. It loves 70. 70 sits at about just under 7,000 RPMs, and you're going to find the most comfort there. So with that being said, that is unfortunate, only because if you start getting into its top speed range, which is 86 miles an hour is this bike's top speed. So once you start creeping up to that point, it still feels planted, but it doesn't give me the confidence to keep it at that speed. I don't know, maybe it's the fact that I've seen too many YouTube videos where they get speed wobbles going 85, 90, 95, 100 miles an hour, and they go down on the freeway. I don't want to be that guy, so I try to stay away from that speed anyways. So it definitely could be because of that. Another positive for this bike is that they classify it as an adventure bike, so you do get the fairings with it. And it does help quite a bit. I did add this windshield. The normal windshield is like just a tiny little 6-inch, I don't even know if you could call it a windshield. It's more like I don't even know. It basically puts the wind directly in your face. This puts the top of my helmet, which kind of makes some buffeting on my helmet, but just got to live with it. So with that being said, that is nice. Because they call it an adventure bike, it does come with the fairings and everything else. You do get a little bit of the amenities of an adventure bike as far as it being, as far as it being wind fairings or wind protection, a little bit of wind protection, which is nice. But yeah, and then another thing is it is relatively comfortable. So you can't sit on it for a while. The seating's upright still. It's not like a sport bike. You're not going to be hunched over. It's not like a cruiser. You're not going to be laid out on it either. So, and also, I'm like coming in at 230 pounds, and this bike does great with me on it at freeway speeds. So that is nice. It packs quite a punch for such a little bike. So I don't want to discredit it in any way. I think that I do want to give credit to it where credit's due, and it's due a lot of credit because it is a good bike. Would I travel long distance on this bike, like a good road trip or something? I probably would. It really depends on the distance of the road trip. Am I going to sit on this bike for hours? No, absolutely not. I'm not, because I get too cramped up. In my last video, you guys, or the video that I'm going to post right along with this one, is going to be the seat concepts review, and you'll probably see that before you see this one. So I'm going to say this: I did get the seat concept seat. It is the comfort seat, and with that, it is the same height as the stock seat. So if you are taller, even if you go with the comfort seat, you're not going to be disappointed. But I wish, because it's a $260 purchase as soon as you include shipping, I wish I would have went with the tall seat, simply just to give my legs a little more room to move, because it pretty much levels out the seat. But with that, you're going to have to adjust the handlebars and everything else. So keep that in mind if you do go with the tall seat. Let me switch lanes real quick. Like I said, even if you did the comfort seat, you're not going to be disappointed. I'm rolling the comfort seat right now. My legs are still just a little cramped, but they're not awful. They could be better and it could be worse, but it is far more comfortable than the stock seat, so I do have to give it credit for that. So yeah, that pretty much concludes my freeway riding of this bike. I think you guys are going to love it. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. My earlier video, I was kind of talking down about the bike on the freeway, and a lot of that had to do with my inexperience of riding on the freeway at free rate speeds. I believe that some of that was just my fear of going those speeds, and that's fine, but I will say that my opinions have changed on it. As soon as I got more comfortable with freeway riding and all that other kind of stuff, going those speeds, I don't have any kind of gripes about it. It does fine. Sure, it would be nice to have a little more power, but oh well. It's a cheap bike, and it's a good cheap bike, and its service intervals are pretty long. It's a good bang for your buck. It really is. It's got the BMW name on it. It's reliable. A lot of the problems have been solved in the earlier generations. The only thing that they did, in my opinion, that kind of sort of didn't really make this bike much of an adventure bike is taking the ABS on and off switch away. I wish they would have kept that, or at least incorporated something into the settings where you could dumb down the traction control on it. But other than that, this bike is fantastic on and off road. It's great on the freeway, and like I said, guys, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. But yeah, anyways, that pretty much sums up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, and yeah, like and subscribe, share me with your friends, hit the bell notification, because there's going to be more videos to come, so you guys get updated and you're alerted by it. And anyways, yeah, have fun out there. It's a beautiful day. Get out and ride safe and be safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.